you have the most amount of mitochondria in your eyes. Like,
that's right.
There's like a few places where it's just packed with mitochondria, and that's one of them. So that's fascinating.
Yep, and our organs are packed with them. Like the heart has a ton of mitochondria, etc. So cellular energy is super important. And what makes red light so unique, why people aren't standing in front of green light and these others, because these specific wavelengths of red and near infrared can actually boost cellular energy. And when you have more cellular energy, your body can function more efficiently. Cells can actually heal. And not only do they heal, they're better protected, right? They're better protected from going under stress again. So it just makes you stronger. It's almost like giving your cells like food, you know?
Yeah,
It's pretty incredible. So what it does, you know, to summarize that, it's boosting cellular energy and specifically mitochondria function.
Is it true that the mitochondria have receptor sites for red light?
Yep, they have photoreceptors. Yep, and they respond to these wavelengths light, which just makes it just all the more interesting.
Crazy.
And I kind of like think about this explosion of us understanding light, right? Understanding more about circadian rhythm. When you kind of go through life and you go through school, you think like we have everything figured out.
Yes.
But then you can kind of look at history and you're like, well, just 100 years ago, we didn't even know what vitamins were. We didn't even have those proven out. Now we know what they are. So I feel like that's where we are with light. You know, you see this explosion with infrared saunas using light to heat the body, right? To put it under stress. And you see more things exploding of using, can't remember the company, but there's glasses you can put on that give your eyes like green light that can help.
Brain Tap has something like that. Yeah.
So we're kind of figuring out there's so many different ways to use light for our benefit, right? And so that's where kind of Juve is we're giving you this healthy wavelengths of light, but we're making it convenient to use at home, which is the most important because it takes consistent usage to really see benefit. No different than it would be if you're taking a supplement or like you talk about intermittent fasting. A one-off of intermittent fasting could maybe help in some areas, maybe some digestion, but really you got to consistently do it to really reap the benefits. And that's how red light is.
So this is the way I process the body is if it has a receptor site for red light, then we need to see red light. And if we don't see red light, then you're depriving that mitochondria of a nutrient as powerful as oxygen, as vitamin, as ketones. Like all those nutrients are all important. So if we're inside all day, if we have our sunglasses on, if we're not seeing sunrise and sunset where the red light exists, we're literally getting no red light, and then we're not nourishing the mitochondria in the way that they need to be nourished. Is that a proper way to look at it? Like we're depriving our mitochondria of a key nutrient if we're not getting red light?
I'd say that's spot on, and I think it's accidental because I think when we developed this indoor lifestyle, we didn't fully understand what we were doing. Same thing when we brought light in the home. Yeah. I mean, you can go through the research and see that it's been amazing since we brought light into the home. The average American sleeps 3 hours less. So there's lots of stuff we've done by accident, you know? And so, I mean, that's spot on. And one thing to add to that is not only are we not being exposed to these wavelengths of light, but we're also being overexposed to certain wavelengths of light, like blue light, as an example. You know, most indoor lighting is all blue light. And then at night, all of our devices, TVs, computers, everything, it's utilizing blue light, which is really, really a stimulative light to cortisol. So it's pretty much helps us stay awake, which is why the sky's blue during the day.
This is the same concept as fasting. When people fast, they start to get not just ketones. We see all kinds of neurochemical changes that they're not getting and they're missing out on when they eat all day long. And to me is where we get into this evolutionary mismatch. Like we really, at this point in 2022, we've got to pause and say, okay, some of these nutrient requirements of the body are not being met, and I feel like light is like right up there with one of the key ones. But it's really easy to look at a red light and be like, oh, I'm going to wave that thing I'm going to stand in front of it and my testosterone's going to go up. So explain to us a little bit. I know there's some great hormone studies. How can we use this as a tool that might be as powerful as just a good old-fashioned meal?
To give more information on that, in 2019 we participated in a case study, and it was about 40 people between male and female, and we divided the research group we were working with. They were heavily interested in helping people specifically metabolically. So they're big believers in a ketogenic diet, and anyone that has seen research on the ketogenic diet can be very beneficial. Not a diet for everybody, but it can be very, very beneficial compared to a standard American diet. And so that's what they were focused on, and they had seen a lot about Juve and red light therapy and seen how it could help a ton for mitochondria function. And they were, as being clinicians, they knew, mitochondria function is a key to, especially as you age.